Joining me now, three of the best and my favorite political analysts here in New York. Earl Lewis, columnist, New York Daily News, syndicated columnist Miguel Perez, Democratic strategist Hank Shenkoff. Thanks for being here, gentlemen. Let me start, Miguel, with you. Has the Democratic Party just decided that perhaps there's no role for the leadership of the party, that you should just simply have race-based petty fights between your candidates and see what you can do to destroy a party?
I really enjoyed last night's debate. I thought it was really good. I mean, good. Except for the first half hour when they got down and dirty, and it was really, totally unnecessary. But they really, I think it's good when they argue over the issues, and they were arguing over the issues at some point. When they argue about personal, petty stuff, then it turns everybody off. The winner yesterday, two Johns, right. John McCain and John Edwards.
That's an interesting way to put it. And by the way, turning people off, let me throw this additional fact out there. That was the highest rated presidential debate on cable television last night in history. What do you make of that?
Economics finally kicking in, people finally saying, let's wake up, guys. We've been talking about it on this program for a year, predicting, frankly, that the economy, not Iraq, would be the problem. And it is the problem, and Americans want to hear some straight talk. That is the issue. They're not getting it, and if they don't start getting it, we're going to see some terrible things happen.
Now, I want to say, I give Edwards credit. He has been talking about this economy, whether in the terms one likes or doesn't like. Much of it I happen to like. Senator Obama has as well. Senator Clinton, without question. But nothing they're saying seems to have relevance to the crisis we're facing here, Errol.
Well, that's right. They came, all of them, frankly, came late to the subprime debacle. I mean, this was months in the making. There were hearings, there were warnings, there were articles. They didn't really come up with anything tangible until, what, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago?
We should point out that neither did this administration nor the Federal Reserve come much earlier.
Very true. On the other hand, they're not the ones who are trying to be the next president. Right, I mean, these folks, I think, have belatedly come to this. And we're in a situation where politics is always going to come first. And that's why they had to go through all of that craziness in the first 45 minutes before they settled into any discussion about issues.
Is there sufficient maturity in this country for these candidates, for our elected officials, our president, the leaders, the Democratic leaders of the House and Senate, to actually stand up before the American people and say, this is very serious, and it's very likely we're in recession, and let's all be adults and not sit here and be squeamish about the quote-unquote R-word, recession. It's cyclical. It's part of the nature of economies, and certainly this one. What do you think, Miguel?
I agree, but what they should be saying is like, look, we have these plans that are 2 years away. What we should be dealing with is the urgency of the problem. And some of these guys are still in Congress. Last time I looked, a lot of these candidates are senators. What they should be encouraging is for the Congress to finally do something for the American people. We have a stagnant legislature, and we have a stagnant executive branch, and they really need to. This is their last chance. This is Bush's last chance to do something for the American people, and so is this Congress. Yeah, I mean, if they really don't do something about this emergency that we have right now, I don't know when they will.
Bush's history, this emergency has been going on for some time. No one's going to like the truth, but it's time to tell the truth, and the truth will make the special interests that provide the money that runs the politics in this country very uncomfortable. So it will take a tremendous amount of courage, Lou, for someone to stand up and tell the truth.
Hank, are you suggesting that both political parties, the Democrats and Republicans, and their candidates are dominated by corporate America and special interests?
Dwight Eisenhower was not the most exciting person in the history of the world, but he said something on the way out the door. He said, beware of the military-industrial complex. Beware of the financial-industrial complex, which is what it's become. And frankly, if you put in those words, he was exactly right more than 40 years ago, and he's right today.
The Republicans and the Democrats in the two previous, in this administration and the previous, the Congresses, Republican and Democrat, over the course of the past almost 2 decades, handed over the keys to these markets, to the financial institutions, and pushed back against regulation, opened it up, and they have literally raped and pillaged.
I mean,
well, not literally, but figuratively.
Well, look, it's startling. This Bush administration stood in the way when something like 49 of the 50 attorneys general tried to get a hold legislatively and through lawsuits over local financial institutions to do something about predatory lending, to do something about payday lending. They very specifically out of Washington told the banking institutions not to cooperate, told them to switch to federal charters, and helped create this mess in a really profound kind of a way.
We're going to be back with our panel in just one moment. Stay with us.
Now make a 3-inch incision between the 4th and 5th abdominal muscles.
Shouldn't you be doing this?
Making important financial decisions on your own doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones prefers meeting clients face to face.
Between an environment at risk and an environment in balance. Between consuming less and conserving more. There is one important word. How. And it is the how that makes all the difference to the planet we all share.
When you need information, the Sharp MX series can help you find it virtually anywhere in your company. That's because all of your network systems can be accessed right from the MFP's customizable panel, thanks to Sharp OSA technology. It's so flexible, you can even search the internet for a great restaurant to entertain your clients. The Sharp MX series. Work without limits.
Disciplined investing. It isn't about star fund managers. At T. Rowe Price, it's about experienced investment teams that stay the course. For each 3, 5, and 10-year period, over 70% of our mutual funds beat their Lipper average. Low-cost mutual funds from T. Rowe Price. Invest with confidence. Request a complete prospectus or profile with investment objectives, risks, fees, expenses, and other information to read and consider carefully before investing.
Hey, Bob. Hey, we're expanding. We're going to need a lot more stuff. Let's start with servers. Okay, HP ProLiant, IBM, Sun. Oh, good. And networking. Cisco, 3Com. Wow, is there anything you guys don't have?
With over 1,000 top technology brands to choose from, in stock and ready to ship, we're there. CDW.
What do you think about getting some takeout after this?
We're back with Errol Lewis, Miguel Perez, Hank Scheinkoff. Miguel, we're talking about a situation in which the economics are uncertain at best. We know they're not going to be very pleasant. But the idea that a Democratic Congress, House and Senate, and a Republican White House can't get together and make this happen pretty quickly. Now they're talking about it by the middle of next month, perhaps. What's taking so long?
Early March, middle of March, and when I hear that, I'm saying, what do they have to do between now? Are they that busy that they can't take care of this emergency? I mean, are they,
what's more pressing?
What are they doing the next couple of weeks?
Because they're not talking about the war in Iraq, and I can't think of anything but this economy and that war in Iraq as the two primary issues.
Well, there is
not only these for this nation, but for the political candidates.
Well, I was going to say there is this election business that's going on. I mean, look, February 5th, this national primary, unprecedented. You know, there's going to be what 22 states that are up for grabs.
Correct.
That's going to take everybody's attention. So there's your
Just
first.
about half
That's
the
your first
delegates
answer.
up
Yeah, and then between then and March, maybe the dust will start to settle. But this
Are you excited about any one of these candidates having the capacity? Let's assume the worst here, that this financial crisis is as bad as is feared on both sides of the Atlantic and around the Pacific Rim and many of the markets. Any one of these candidates give you great confidence in terms of economic leadership, understanding of international markets, the capacity to come up with a vision to resolve what could be some horrific days ahead.
The interesting thing, and this is why I'm in the business, I think you too, in a way, is that you don't know who's going to rise to the occasion. A year from now, when the new president is sworn in, whoever he or she may be, they are going to have challenges that we have scarcely imagined at this point, I think, when it comes to management of the economy. And the question for them will be, for their career, for their administration, for their lives, really, is will they rise to the occasion? Will they develop the courage and the creativity and the skills and the alliances that it will take to put together a system that is unraveling before our very eyes?
Hank?
I'm an optimist sometimes and a pessimist other times. I can tell you I'm waiting for people to come up with a rhetoric that matters. Rhetoric that'll tell people to pay it, to tell the American public to believe in something very strongly again, like recovery, and to be able to put this country together in a way that makes some sense. I haven't heard it yet.
Yeah, the leadership in this country right now, it's peculiar. As I was talking with Professor Siegel and Robert Kuttner, two very distinguished economic observers, the idea that we have not had direct discussion from Wall Street, from corporate America, for the leaders, is troubling. And it's one of the changes in our society and our economy that is, I think, extremely unfortunate, particularly faced with crisis as we are today. Miguel Perez, thank you very much, sir. As always, good to have you here. Errol Lewis.